down, get a pencil out, and get started. Once you guys sit down, you'll have about 5 minutes. So you'll be done at 10:39. By then, pencils should be down. So everyone can take a seat right in the front. You can just drop your gear. Do you mind staying right there in the front, so there's not everyone in the front? Thank you so much. Thank you for being here on a Saturday morning. So right now what you guys are doing, just a recap of the directions, you have a do now in front of you. You guys should be prepared with a pencil. So you should have a pencil out, put your name, the date. Today is February 2nd, and you are getting started on the do now. So that paper you have in front of you is the same that is up here. So your goal for this first one is to match the vocab words, which you can see are ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. And I want you to put it in the proper box of the number 4721. So where does this vocab word fit in these boxes? Once you finish that, I want you to draw a diagram. How would I represent the number 6? How would I represent the number 13? And how would I represent the number 9? And then finally, as you guys are working your way through that, you're going to get to this section where you have to tell me what is the value of the underlined digit. So your first example, there's that 2. It's underlined. That is a 200, and in written form, that is 200. So how would you do that for the remaining 3? Does anyone have any questions? Hands if you have questions. Yes? I will want you to think, what is the best way you can represent the number 6? So, how do you represent 6 holes? Is it making 6 stars? Is it making 6 circles, 6 squares? How would you represent that you have 6 of something? Okay. Hands, any other questions? All right, so you guys have, let's say I'll give you about 4 minutes to complete this do now. Just so you guys are managing your time, you have about 2 minutes. Again, we're just reviewing place values of whole numbers right now as I do now to warm up. And we have about 1 minute left. done, please put your pencils down. If not, you have a little less than 1 minute. All right, so if everyone can please put their pencils down. It is okay if you are not done. I know that we're getting to know each other and this is something new. So what I wanted to do is, as you guys did that do now, just give me a quick read. Thumbs up if you found it easy, thumbs in the middle if you found it so-so, thumbs down and it's perfectly fine, thumbs down if you found it hard. Where are you guys on the line? Are you thumbs up like this was the easiest thing I've ever done? Thumbs in the middle like it was okay, once I got in the mindset I knew what I was doing, or thumbs down that I don't know what this new teacher is talking about. Where are you guys on the line? Where are you on the line? Up, down, middle? The middle? Okay, so this is what we're going to be starting with today, and if you guys got it great, that is perfect. My goal is by the end of class, you guys are not only going to get what these are whole numbers, but our main goal today is ordering and comparing decimals. So we're not going to just be focused on these whole values, we're going to have to go one step further and look at decimals and place values of decimals. So what I want to do is I want to go over this do now with you. Do you mind if I use your paper? Kayla? Right? So Kayla, for this first section, do you mind telling me, how did you know what place value each one of these numbers was? Okay. So can you just speak up so everyone can hear? You knew that this first one was ones? And then, so if this first one is ones, what does the second one have to be? Yep. And then keep going? Yep. And thousands, yes. And you started here at the ones. Was it easier to start at this end or to start at the far end? Right. So one tidbit that you guys might notice, and one strategy you might see, is that it is usually easier if you find the decimal. Start there and work your way out, rather than working your way from the biggest number and down. So does everyone have this? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands? If not, it is perfectly fine. You can scratch it out. This whole point is to help you guys study. So if you didn't get it, you can change it right now. So thank you, Kayla. Who got the next section? Who was able to get some diagrams? How do you say it? How do you say it? Naja, do you mind if I use your paper? So Naja, for yours, how did you decide to make a model? Right. So circles. So how many circles did you draw for 6? For 13? And for 9? So what is that really saying? You have, for number 1, 6, you have 6 what? 6 pies. Do you have parts of pies? You have what? Whole entire pies. So these numbers are also known as what? What types of numbers are these? Whole numbers. Perfect. So we have 6 whole numbers, 13 whole numbers, and 9 whole numbers. Perfect. And now, applying that one step further, let's look at our last part, which I found to be the most difficult. Joseph, you ready? So for Joseph, what did you do? How did you know what the underlying place value was?
I just started, like, it's like at the beginning, like 1, 2, 100 down to 2,000.
Okay. So in this, we see the example of the 2 as being 200, and that's how I write 200, and that's it in written form. So this first one, you knew that this 7 was what?
1.
Right?
Just write 7.
Perfect. Right. And you wrote 7 beautifully. And the next one? Mm-hmm. Yep. And for the last one?
9,000.
Right. Now, usually, how do we know that this is always going to be the thousands mark? What is that little tidbit right after the 9 that helps us? So, what's your name? Is that Raven? Raven, how do you know that this is always going to be a thousands? What is there right after that 9? A comma, right? In that first comma, what is always at? What place value is that always after the comma? No, we're not going to, that would be, we're going to get there. That's going to be decimal. But after a comma, right here, what place value is this? Thousands, right? So if this is a comma and that's thousands, if there was a comma here and another number, what would the next number be after that comma? Yeah, Joseph? So this would be 10,000s. This 5 would be 100,000. And then there would be a comma and another number. And if I put that in as a 1, that would be what? Millions. So all of this is whole numbers, right? How do you guys feel about whole numbers? You feeling a little better about it? We're seeing how we can either, as you saw at the beginning, all you were was identifying the place value. The second one, you were drawing representations of it. And then the last one, you were just finding it in those bigger numbers. So again, if you did not have that complete, I see all of you filled it in. Thank you very much. Do you mind just filling in this last part for me? We are going to now move on to what our objective of the day is. Our objective is that I want you guys to understand ordering and comparing decimals. So we got our brains thinking, we got everything warmed up with whole numbers, and now we're going to delve into decimals. Just so you guys know a little about me, I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math in Hartford, Connecticut, and my goal is I always like to have no surprises in class. So as you can see, you guys came in, you did your do now, we reviewed it. Now we're going to explore the objective of the day. Our objective is ordering and comparing decimals. So if ever in class you feel like, I don't know what's going on, what's going to be next, you can look like right here and see what we're going to be doing. So we're going to explore, we're going to have our notes, you guys are going to have a little bit of independent practice, and then it's already time to do our exit slip, and you guys are going to tell me whether yes or no you understood what we did today. So my strategy, especially with you guys and with my classes, I love to give guided notes. A lot of time is wasted when, the teacher's up here writing, and then you guys have to write it down, and it's just copying and copying and copying. And sometimes it takes a lot of time, and you guys get bored. So what I found is, why not skip that? I'll have most of the words down for you, and your job is to put in the key words. So if everyone has their packet, can please turn to the second page. It should look like this. So I believe it's double-sided, so turn it over and flip it. Oops. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. At the top, it says, by the end of today, I will be able to. Well, who was listening? Who remembers? What did I say your goal was at the end of today? What's your name? Amani? Amani, what are we supposed to be able to do? Imani? Okay, I'm sorry. What are we going to be able to do today? So we warmed up with whole numbers, and I said we're going to take it one step further. What else are we going to be able to do? But not just decimals. What are we going to be doing with these decimals? Comparing them, right? So up there at the very top, if all of you can put in, right here, by the end of today, I will be able to. I want you to write order and compare decimals. Whoops. And as you can see, getting into our notes, there are some certain keywords I want you guys to learn. So yes, we're going to learn how to order and compare decimals, and yes, you are going to be able to take home some new vocab words. So we're going to learn what tenths, equivalent, hundredths, decimal, thousands, and decimal point mean. But again, rather than having you guys copy it all down, it is all right here for us. So a blank is a number written in standard base 10 system. So which one of those do you think is a number that can be written in standard form? Standard form, we also use the term base 10 system. What do you think, Joseph? A decimal, right. A decimal means we are working with a base 10 system. So for that first one, you're going to write decimal. And a little hint, if you guys ever have parts where you have to be filling in words and you're having trouble with the vocab, you can cross it out right there. That way, if you're ever taking a quiz or having trouble remembering remembering which word you already used, you cross it out, it's already gone, and you know our next one, we're only choosing between the remaining ones. So now we have decimal. That is when you are talking about a base 10 system. It usually contains a something that separates the ones place from a bunch of other things. So what is that thing that separates the ones, or as you guys already told me, whole numbers, from the decimals? What do we use? Sorry, what was your name again? Raven? Raven, what do we use? Not tenths. What do we use that, what is that indicator we use that separates the tenths from the whole numbers? Yeah, a decimal point. So we use a decimal point to separate the ones, or our whole numbers, from the decimals. Now Raven already gave us one of them. What is one of the decimal point place values, Kayla? Right, so we already used decimal and decimal point. What are some decimal place values? Not that one. So, you know how earlier on this page, we did ones, tens, hundreds, thousands? What do you think it is now to the other side of the decimal? What are some of our other vocab words? What could be another place value? Tenths. So what I want to do, when she mentioned tenths, if you can see where I'm going to write it. Tenths. What's another one? Joseph, do you have another one?
Hundreds.
Hundredths. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Imani? Right?
Yep.
What's the last one? Thousands. So those are the three place values that we're going to start exploring today. Now there's still one more word left. And it says blank decimals are equivalent in value. Are equal in value. Sorry, I forgot. Nija, what do you think that word is? Equivalent. So equivalent, if anything, we're no longer going to use the word equal in math. We're beyond that. We guys are going to be mathematicians, and mathematicians like to make bigger words. So instead of equal, we are going to say they are equivalent. So now let's get into the whole meat of it. What does a decimal usually mean? If I say, we see decimals all the time, right? So let's start with that. Where do we see decimals? Where do you guys work with decimals every single day? And I guarantee that you guys see them every day. Where do you see decimals? Joseph, you have an idea?
We do it every day.
Okay. So you use it every day in math class. What about outside of math class? Outside of school, where do you always see decimals? Huh?
Homework.
Okay, so it's still school related. We see it in homework. We see it in school. What else? Where do you see it in your everyday life? Where do you see it in a store? You see it in books?
Books, yeah, books.
Okay.
What?
No, it's fine. You see it there. Where else? Where else in your life have you seen decimals before? Have any of you gone to the store before? Huh? Where do you see decimals in a grocery store?
Money.
On a price tag,
Money.
right? So what is it? Give me an example of a decimal with a price tag. $3.99. What part's the decimals? Yeah, so is 3 the decimal? Where are my decimals in that? Right, the 99. You know, I have 3.99 is the price of, who knows what, a candy bar. I don't know how much candy bar costs anymore. So maybe get into king size for $3.99 and you're getting ripped off, right?